finds a good place, a place
Sorry.
for thriving.
Say that
And
again. Oh yeah. Ooh, that was the one.
she will drag herself, if necessary, just like the duckling, from place to place till she finds a good place, a place for thriving.
Hmm.
And I'm currently dragging myself. And so I needed to read that because I'm just like, what do I do, bro? What the fuck do I do right now? As far as a winter into a spring, I don't know. I know this time last year was probably as cold as the winter could get for me. I had just found out that I was being cheated on like my whole relationship, and I didn't really know what to do. Um, I was bouncing back and forth between my ex and my mom, and I there was this one night I remember just kind of realizing that like I ran back to my mom and she don't give a fuck. She doesn't care about what's happening to me and she can't help me. And I have to do this by myself. And that was not a comforting thought at all. That made me feel very scared and very upset. Um, I decided to go back to my ex just for like the safety of the house because I couldn't be at my mom's house. And it was while I was there that I even found this group. And I think it was a video of lady saying something about like what's wrong with just being with yourself. And I was just like, huh, I don't know.
Hmm. I had lunch with my friend Roslyn this week, and Roslyn is so accomplished and so fabulous, but it's very self-loathing. And the reason why Roslyn has such a hard time is because she don't have a man in her life. She understands how disempowering it is for her to feel like this. But the reason why she feels like she's abnormal, the reason why she feels like the ugly duckling is because growing up, her mama been married 3 times. Rosalind don't Rosalind thinks what it is to be a woman. She thinks she's less of a woman because she don't have a man in her life and a man in her house. And so like when I talk to her about the beauty of her aloneness, all she sees is that man in my house. When I talk to her about that big fat mirror that I gave her, because I'm like, this is a beautiful home. You should have this beautiful, stunning piece here. It will enrich your experience, blah, blah, blah. She'd rather have a man. She'd rather have anyway, I'm saying all these things to say that I've been for years standing behind a chair talking to women, talking to my girlfriends. It's hard to ask the question, what's wrong with being alone? Like what's the issue with just being on your own? Me even saying it out loud, it makes it seem like I'm trying to put you on punishment because I would ask you to consider you don't know how to be with people. You
And it's
clearly don't know how to you don't know how to be with people, you don't know how to choose people, you don't know how to do none of that. Choose yourself. And you choosing yourself self sounds like such a death sentence. That's why you can't choose people. Lord help you.
yeah. And I think that I always understood like that it was going to be really hard, and I didn't know if I could handle it. And um, I don't know, just reading her being like, yeah, you're gonna be dragging your broken body from place to place. It's gonna be hard. I think I just needed to see that. And I also um as far as being an ugly duckling, I think I just am aware of how hard of a time I'm having, and I wish I wasn't. But um, you know, sometimes life goes wrong for the wildest woman from the beginning.
You got that's it. Okay. That I'll go next then. But Edlin, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I can go because
Okay.
I finally
Okay.
made it and I
Okay.
have to get in.
Okay.
So there's a particular part on the in the big book. It's the love for the soul portion, and it's on page 189. And I think wait, okay, so I'll just read it. So it starts off with hold out, hold on, do your work. You will find your own way. At the end of the tale, the swans recognize the duckling as one of their own before he does. That is rather that is rather typical of the exiled women. After all that hard wandering, they manage to wander over to the frontier into home territory and often don't realize for a time that people's looks have ceased to be disparaging and are more often neutral when they are not admiring and approving. One would think that now that they are on their own psychic ground, they would be deliriously happy, but no. For a time at least, they are terribly distrustful. Do these people really regard me? Am I really safe here? Will I be chased away? Can I really sleep with both eyes closed now? Is it all right to act like a swan? After a time, these suspicions fall away, and the next stage of coming back to one's self begins, accepting of one's own unique beauty. That is the wild soul from which we are made. And I think that part really hit me because I've I've always been trying. I started off our first meeting with talking about how grateful I was to have found a space where I feel like there are women like me, women who are like minded. You know, we may not all look alike, we may not all have the same thought processes or want the same things, but this feels like after all the wandering and even being a part of a sorority where there are parts of me where I can show up and be authentically myself, and then there's parts of me where I'm like, not too much, and I have to remember this is still a business. I can come here. We are in our training for the university, and one of the things we talked about was how, after we are consistently doing training and being in community with one another, the last thing we want to do when we are looking to go rest is to be in community. And I was like, actually, no. I said, I'm a part of a book club where this is a part of my rest, right? This is a part of my rejuvenation. And I look forward to these book clubs on Fridays and knowing that I'm getting ready to go to this Ybor retreat. I don't really want to be here, but I'm like, this is a part of my rest and I make time for this because this is where I feel like I am safe. This is where I feel like there's a bunch of swans after, I've been roaming around this world by myself since I was 17 as the ugly duckling and being consistently reminded that I'm the ugly duckling. Even in my sorority, there was people at one point that did things to let me know that I was the ugly duckling based off of the darkness of my skin. So it's like knowing that I can come here, I just felt that there were other parts of the chapter that really stood out for me, but that part just made me feel like I was able to sink in. I was able to soften and be like, I'm happy I made it here. I'm happy I wandered here and didn't give up. Because you look online, you look on TikTok, everybody's talking about jealousy, this, that, and the third. And I have parts where I talk about that too, but I still didn't give up. I still wandered to where there are other swans that are just like me. And I know there's so many women who are hopeful one day that they can too. And I think I just was really grateful when I got to that part. I was like, I found my people. And yeah, like that really hit home for me.
Before you go, I never, ever want, every chance I get, every book club meet, I always try to show you my gratitude for introducing us to this book. A lot of us already had this book in their library. I didn't. This book has changed my life. It has changed my experience with myself. It has changed my experience with other women. It has added depth to my ability to relationship with myself and other women. It has given me, I'm able to see myself in a way that I've never been able to see myself if I didn't say that already. It has enriched my marriage. It has enriched my friendships. It has enriched my experience as a mother, remothering myself. It has changed my life. It is a legendary text. I take it everywhere. I talk to the people in the grocery store about it. I talk to strangers about it. I talk to people I know about it. Even if it's like, and everybody got the book, it don't even matter that they haven't read it. You got it in your library, and I just say, if it ain't your time, fine. But she's there for you when you need her. And I just really want to thank you because you came through the door talking about this book. You came through the door talking about this chapter. And when I opened the book and I read the introduction and I realized how far away I was from chapter 6, I had put chapter 6 very, very far in the back of my mind because I kept stopping in the middle of Vasilisa and in the middle of Bluebeard and in the middle of the Skeleton Woman and going back into the introduction because I wanted to write these words into my DNA. Now that I'm in chapter 6, hey, Kiosha, it's just I understand why you brought chapter 6 in with the book. You talked about like this chapter 6 changed my life. Chapter 6 is the deal. I can't wait for y'all to get to chapter 6. I'm so excited. And so again, this has been a gift to us. You will be a precious gift to us because you brought us a precious gift. You have typed a wonderful experience to the womanhood, and we cherish you. We thank you, girl. My God. You're welcome. Anybody want to go next? I was gonna go next. If anybody want to go next, please go next. If you want to go next, please go next. Carrie, you got your things in order? We thank you for your contributions. Carrie, you ain't going? You still ain't got your power together? You will go after me. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
Testing, testing.
Testing.
testing. Melinda's face, she's like, I'm sick of her. Please get it together.
We have some people that's technologically savvy. Then we have some people that's not.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we
No, I'm joking. No.
I just want to say real quick, Grace is off mute, and I don't think she knows.
Grace.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. I was just making sure you ain't have a word for us.
Oh, I'm good. I'm over here just, loving the love in this group. So let me chill out.
Okay. Good to see and hear from you. Okay, Miss. Okay. Oh, I wasn't trying to make you turn your camera on. I was just saying, just to even, see you in the room. Okay. For real this time, Carol.
For real this time, just kidding.
Okay.
All right. That third paragraph under the ugly duckling on the first page got me immediately. Mm-hmm. And I've been all over the place with this chapter, going way far back, going really deep. And it's hard to finish because I keep going over again and again. I'm like, really? And it's just making me think back to specific times in my childhood. And it's hard for me to just finish it. I stumbled so many times. Just finish the chapter, then go back and make your notes. Just finish the chapter, then go back and journal. I haven't even finished chapter 6 yet because I'm still trying to figure out why.
If you had them finish,
you would have an answer.
Will have let you know. Stop focusing on the why. Dr. Estes already dealt with that. Instead of getting banged around, sorry, let me be quiet. Go ahead.
The why is no. When I say why, no. Okay, go ahead.
So the answer to why me.
When I say why, I'm talking about.
What? What you talking about here?
I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm listening.
So the answer to why me,
That's
why
the
this
question.
family, why am I so different is, of course, that there are no answers to these questions.
There's no answer. There's no reason.
My therapist said the same thing.
And
yesterday.
I can't bear it anymore. I
got this note.
Reading The Ugly Duckling and thinking back to being small and certain things I was called and certain ways I was treated, it is, how do you look at your child's tiny face that looks like your face? How do you look down at yourself, looking up at you like, mommy, and treat them that way? You know, I promised I would be more organized, and I'm already just accepting that the family that you were born into may not be where you belong, accepting that you're in a box, that you can free yourself out of this box. You don't have to stay in this box if it's not where you should be, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to know. And eventually you have to accept that this is not where you should steam along. Just fly a little bit. You're going to run into your people. You're going to run into your crowd if you, like she said on page 189, do your work. And it comes to a point where the deeper you get into this, or the deeper I get into this reflection, I have to choose. It's really hard. And when I say choose, I mean cutting certain people completely off. Setting boundaries so firm that it's just no, there's no explanation. There's no, the guilt aspect of it. And I'm talking about toxic relationships, whether it be a parent. In my situation, it's a parent, and even so, an ex-spouse. There are certain areas where an ex-spouse shouldn't have any relevance in your life. The deeper that I go into this, I'm still being too nice. I'm still being too allowing, and it's costing me. So where I got triggered with chapter 6 with The Ugly Duckling was, you were never ugly. The inside of the environment of the people that you were stuck in a box with is ugly. Just because family that looks just like you I've been called a roach before. I've been called, I don't know if you've ever heard of Shabba Ranks. He's a reggae dance hall. I was bullied as a child for being dark skinned. Now as an adult, I love my dark complexion. But as a child, I'm not even starting at the beginning. Start at the beginning. The Ugly Duckling was so deep and so layered for me that I could barely finish it, because it was reminding me of things that I didn't even realize shaped how I saw myself for years. I didn't fall in love with my features until this past 10 years. Growing up, I couldn't stand my complexion. I couldn't stand the fact that I was the darkest one out of all my siblings. And just a little backstory, I am Bahamian American, and in the Bahamas and a lot of islands in the Caribbean, colorism is a major problem. Colorism and favoritism for people of lighter skin tone, lighter complexion, softer hair texture, it is prevalent to the point where you will have grandparents treat their grandchildren much better if they have lighter skin, fairer features, closer proximity to whiteness, whatever. And I was bullied for it as a child. I have no memory of my mom, my sister, aunties calling me beautiful. None. On the contrary, it's almost part of the culture at the time. And I I was not raised in the Bahamas. I spent childhood summers there. But when you're raised in a household where your parents are a particular nationality, you're raised of the values of that country. So I was raised in Fort Lauderdale, but we were raised with Caribbean values. Our parents treat us as though we were still in the islands. Cousins, family, and everybody, they're still over there. So when we go to visit and, we're all out there playing, it's, oh, you don't stay outside too long, you can be black, and all these insults, and associating being dark with a negative thing and it happens everywhere. I just, looking at my daughter and seeing my face on her face, I don't care what skin complexion she is. She's gorgeous to me. And it's not just because she's my child, but why, that's when I said that, why, that's the why. It's how do you, especially if you were treated a certain way growing up, continue that cycle? So recently I visited Bimini, Bahamas with some family. I went with my mom, my daughter, and a couple siblings. And it was a wonderful time, but there was a lot of continued trauma. And the lessons that I learned about my mom while we were there really helped to clarify for me and even further solidify why I need to distance myself, because it doesn't change, it doesn't get better. At a certain point, it's abuse, and it's a continued manipulation of that person. So for example, your parent, and I don't know if I'm making any sense with this, and I know I always do that, but really and truly, this chapter, I'll go back to where I highlighted and underlined. So a couple of pages later, on 170 in the hard copy, the core meanings we are concerned with are these. The duckling of the story is symbolic of the wild nature, which, when pressed into circumstances of little nurture, instinctively strives to continue no matter what. The wild nature instinctively holds on and holds out, sometimes with style, other times with grace, but holds on nevertheless. And thank goodness for that, for the wildish woman duration is one of her greatest strengths. And then later on in that passage, ascertaining one's own psychic family brings a person vitality and belongingness. Doing that deep dive into my family history and the culture and how it was a social norm in my mom's time and the generations after for people to, it was normalized. I learned that it's normalized for people to make fun of what they consider your shortcomings, what they consider your failures, what they consider, whether you come from a very poor family, or whether your parents aren't married, or your dad has 4 kids on different islands, or, dad was a Rolling Stone. The elders use it as a form of abuse and throw it in the children's faces. The tiny children, they will know a child is struggling, suffering, going through trauma, and turn a blind eye. I found out things about my family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, who knew about things that were going on, who knew the conditions that my parents and their mothers and fathers even were living in, and allowed it, and mind their business, and allow a child to just endure. And then when that child becomes of age, gets married, or just has children, instead of them giving their children better than what they got, or instead of them saying, I'm going to give my child what I didn't have, I know what I didn't have, I didn't get this from my mom for whatever reason, chose to get married, chose to have kids, chose to stay with the abusive husband, and put babies into the same situation and then kept them there. And then when they saw their babies being brutalized just for their appearance, it's just how we always did it. It's how we always did it.
They act like what they say is, because I have conversations with elders about this all the time, and they be like, I didn't have a choice. It's like our generation just realized that we actually have a choice. And
you have a choice.
Yeah. I'm gonna start the timer because I forgot to start the timer.
Oh shit. See, this is why I struggle with the 5 minutes, because I immediately go into session
So your
4 of
5 minutes
therapy
just
and I didn't
started.
read yet.
Don't qualify. Your 5 minutes just started. If you got anything else to say,
Okay, then I got to speed read, but I felt some type of way. And I'm trying to go inward and focus on my own stuff and let some of this go, because I have this to take care of. I have this to take care of. I have my daughter to take care of. And because I know what I wasn't given, I know how I was treated, I'm going to be selective, and I am selective about how I treat mine. But wait a minute, I have to unlearn this. I have to unlearn and not to say that I walk around today feeling like the ugly duckling, but it took me a while to get where I am with my self-confidence. Just with physical appearance, I have a long way to go with that. But then that's not even touching the surface about the inside, because all this fucks up everything on the inside. Development keeps coming up for me in chapter 6. Underdeveloped. Chapter 4, chapter 5, underdeveloped. Without that intuition, without the freedom to explore and be creative, you're not going to have even the most basic level of self-confidence or self-love. So when you have a culture of people that pick and choose who's beautiful and choose how they talk about who's beautiful and who's ugly and who looks like this and who looks like that, you have no chance. And if mommy didn't do it, and auntie turned her back, and Grammy is sick, and daddy is with his third family or whatever, or wherever, it's just you. And you don't get it until you're 41. On the other side, I'm getting it, I'm going. Yes, they feel powerful. It makes them feel good to insult. To remember and think back when family would come in town to visit, family that didn't give a shit about anybody. You don't see them, you don't hear from them. They show up in town. Oh, I'm in town for the next week. Can you take me to Walmart? Can you take me to, and mommy's so happy to drop everything, give them your room to sleep in for the week and take them for 4 hours to Walmart to stock out their pantry, to take back home. Screw what it does to the kids. Screw that. But these are the family that knew stuff was going on with you and just kept their mouth shut. Where were you the past 15, 20 years? And now you're coming over here and you want me to take you to Walmart for 4 hours? So I have to go over page 171. Underdeveloped came up so much for me. Exile of the Unmatched Child. I am still trying to grasp it 100%, but that is like, where do you even, I can't finish the chapter because I keep going in and I keep making my notes. Anyway, I'll just try to run fast. So under the Exile of the Unmatched Child, I have highlighted, I took my notes, intuition and creativity are one of the pillars of developmental basics. Again, a parent or environment not providing the resources for you to thrive, you're gonna be undeveloped. It's gonna be even hard for you, and you're gonna have to get it from the mud with no ingredients. Make bricks out of straw with no straw. Like, just make it make sense. Okay. Girl children who display a strong instinctive nature often experience significant suffering in early life. From the time they are babies, they are taken captive, domesticated, told they are wrong-headed and improper. Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. Their wildest natures show up early. I wasn't allowed to have a wildish nature. I wasn't allowed to express it. Anyway, I wasn't allowed. They're curious. You're naturally curious, artful, have gentle eccentricities of various sorts. Ones that, if developed, given the freedom to do so, will constitute the basis for their creativity for the rest of their lives. Considering that the creative life is the soul's food and water, this basic development is excruciatingly critical. When you have overly controlling religious parents that only care about appearance, you're not allowed to be expressive. You're not allowed to be creative if it makes them look bad. If they can't shame you in front of auntie to feel good, it's not allowed. I'm not allowed, after I get yelled at and scolded, to close my door. So you realize in your formative years, you have been stifled so much that when you're finally free, it's like, what do I do with all this? Where do I go with all this? You're not given any autonomy over yourself, no freedom. And then when you're old enough to work, they want you to get a job and pay for your own stuff because you're such a burden. an ugly burden. Okay, later on the same page, then the basic self of the psyche.
That was your music.
Your alarm went
That's
off. Okay.
That's it.
That was your
Okay.
wrap it up music.
Okay.
Can't go
Oh,
any
you got
further.
19
I'm sorry.
seconds left. You got 19 seconds left.
No, that's going into extra. That's the over.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's overflow.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening.
You haven't finished chapter 6, you said?
Not yet.
Do you want to
I'm
have like a little
halfway
study
through.
session where we finish it together and write notes?
If
Okay.
you, yeah.
Okay. We'll discuss. You do need to finish it. You got to finish it. But we'll get into it. I'll be in touch. Can you hear me? Can I hear? Savon, I'm glad you made it. I was just thinking about you. I'm glad you made it.
I'm glad to be here. I apologize. I feel like I'm late. I feel like I'm very late. I'm in a different time zone.
It's for me, it really ain't no such thing. People always come in at exactly the right time. Plus, we got the meeting recorded. I'm just so glad you're here.
I am too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, somebody said they wanted to go after Miss Madam C. Who was it? Bree.
I said I was gonna go after you, but that's fine. I can go after Carol.
Okay.
So the whole chapter, let's start there. Okay. Whole chapter, yes. A whole time, glued to the book. But there were a few key areas that kind of hit me for my own experiences and kind of where I'm at right now in my transitional periods and phases of life. We're going to talk about first we got to talk about the child mother and the unmothered mother. As somebody who just moved back in the house with her mother, who is 76 years old and had a very child mother-like experience, all of that is very true, right? Like, you need women in your life that's going to help you grow into the mother that you need to be for the child that you have. And if you don't, that child is going to feel ugly duckling out of place for however long they going to feel that way. I am fortunate enough to have done copious amounts of shadow work, which brings me to like the second to last page of this chapter, where our girl, Dr. Estes, begins it with, instead of making survivorship the centerpiece of one's life, it is better to use it as one of many badges, but not the only one. Humans deserve to be dripping in beautiful remembrances, medals, and decorations for having lived and truly lived in triumph. Once the threat is past, there is a potential trap in calling ourselves by names taken on during the most terrible time of our lives. It creates a mindset, and Dr. Estes says that's potentially limiting, but I'm going to say for damn sure limiting. It will limit you continuously, perpetually. It's not good to base the soul identity solely on the feats and losses and victories of the bad times. While survivorship can make a woman tough as beef jerky, at some point, allying with it exclusively begins to inhibit new development. That touched me to my core, okay? Because yes, you survived, but now what? So skip down a couple paragraphs, because then she says, but thriving means, now that the bad times are behind, to put ourselves into the occasions of the lush, the nurturative, the light, and there to flourish, to thrive with blushy, shaggy, heavy blossoms and leaves. The imagery of this particular segment, I'm in a beautiful garden, right? Like, she transports you to where you can grow and develop more. It's better to name ourselves names that challenge us to grow as free creatures. That is thriving. That is what is meant for us. And that's what's meant for us That's why we're doing all the things that we're doing. We're making this active, conscious, intentional decisions that we're making to unpack, to release, to unlearn, so that we can move forward in the lush, in the beautiful, in the nurturative. So we're gonna skip to the next paragraph because this one is also very important. Ritual is one of the ways in which humans put their lives in perspective, whether it be Purim, Advent, or drawing down the moon. You have to have your rituals, your practices, your what ties your soul back to your source energy. It has to exist. And if it doesn't, you're going to feel disconnected and depleted and out of place. Ritual calls together the shades and specters in people's lives, sorts them out, and puts them to rest. There is a particular image from El Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead celebrations, that can be applied to help women in the transition from surviving to thriving. And this is where I'm living, right? Like, I have built a life. I have done a lot of work. I have put myself in position to transition into the thriving mode. But sometimes you don't know what that looks like. And that's where you got to reconnect to self, to source, to grounding, and remember who you are. And so she goes on to say, it's based on the rite of ofrendas, where there are altars to those who have passed from this life. Ofrendas are tributes, memorials, and expressions of deepest regard for the loved ones no longer on this earth. I find it helps many women to make an ofrenda to the child they once were, rather like a testament to the heroic child, that survivor, the one who has all those bells and whistles from all that trauma you had to endure and get through. We gonna take the little artifacts, we gonna put them on the altar, we gonna celebrate and venerate and elevate them as necessary, and then we gonna let it go so that we can move. Breathe. Okay, thanks, y'all. That was my 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. Was you able to complete your thought?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you can go all the way to chapter 7. If like we could finish, like I said, the whole chapter.
Yeah. I always tell people this. I tell young ones this in one-on-ones, especially young ones who have neglectful moms, the young ones who have had icky childhoods, young ones who have been mistreated, who really have a hard time with just the experience with childhood overall, just their young self. I be like, build a shrine for her by her presence, bring her things, be with her, listen to the music she like, watch the TV shows she like, take care of her, look out for her, give her some shit she ain't never had before, look out for her in a way like if she was 8 and she met you, how would you be with her? Treat her like you would treat her if she was not in here, if she was a separate. Kiosha?
This is going to be really brief. I don't even need the whole 5 minutes. But I like what you said because today I actually went out to get the things to create myself a shrine. And I did it because I read Perfect Peace. So I went to this book fair a few days ago and I got the book Perfect Peace. And I have been sitting with that book really, really, really heavy. I don't know if many of you have read that book, but it touched the deepest core of my adolescent years, because a lot of the things that Perfect had to experience, I too experienced that. And so I had only got into the child mother of the unmothered mother. And the entire time I'm reading, is just the book just kept coming back. Like the visuals that I created from reading the book, it just kept coming back to me. And so today I decided to take a break on reading, and I took myself on a little adventure of first sitting with myself and asking myself, what is it that the younger version of me, the 5 to 9-year-old version of myself, have always wanted? What is the things that she always wanted to do or have? And so I went to the store today and I got myself some things. I got the younger version of myself some things. And I sat in my car because immediately when I came out the store, I started bawling. I was bawling, but it was tears of joy. It was tears of freedom, of happiness, of like pure happiness. And I just kept telling myself, Kiosha, you are exactly where you need to be for her. Not for nobody else, but for her. So I have to finish chapter 6, but I just wanted to share that. And if anybody is looking for a book to read, Perfect Peace, that book. I don't even want to cry. I don't want to cry, but that's all I wanted to share.
Do you have any pictures of yourself up in your house?
No.
Do you
I
have
don't
any
even have pictures of myself. I have one single picture. One single
Oh.
picture of myself. I was probably not even one.
Then you need to put it up, and you actually need to treat it like a treasure. If that's the only picture you have
I
of yourself
do.
from childhood, you need
I
to put it
do.
up where you can look at it every day. You
I
can put it
do.
somewhere where you can see it every day. Okay, fabulous.
But that was all. Oops.
Anybody want to go next? I can go next. If nobody want to go next, anybody want to go next?
I was gonna go, but if you want to
Okay.
go,
No,
go
please
ahead.
go. You know how I can go get it, girl.
Yeah. So I don't have much, but there was just something that stuck out to me. Obviously, it's good, but the whole thing is good. I didn't even finish. I've been stuck, but there's something that stuck out to me. So there's a quote that I heard a while ago, and it began to kind of change me. And it says, "If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." And so that is in the back of my head when I come across the cat could make no sense of being underwater and criticize the duckling for his stupid dreams. The hen could make no sense of getting her feathers wet, and she made fun of the duckling too. And I've always, it spoke to my inner child. It spoke to me where I am now. Sometimes where I might interpret something that I see on TV or that I read in a way that nobody else around me interprets. And I say it and then I get chastised or looked at like I'm crazy. And then a week later, everybody catches up and it's like, oh, that's da, 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 da. And I'm like, but I said it. That's what I said. And of course, I don't get credit for it. No one stops and be like, oh yeah, you did say that. So like I said, it's not much, but man, I felt so seen in that, in this whole thing. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to say that. There is so much more, but I didn't even have time to delve in. But yeah.
That was good. That one grabbed me too about the hen. I think it was the hen and the cat or something.
The duck had gotten to some woman's house.
I felt like that a lot. That's why I always tell the story about how when we had that live stream, we was talking about Bluebeard, and y'all kept telling me that y'all thought, and I'm not even trying to do this, but like when people when y'all be like, we think you're smart, it's a total mind fuck because I've always been everything else other than that. And so like when I'm called smart, I think you like trying to blow smoke up my ass or you just trying to make me feel good. Like I don't think it's a genuine compliment. When she talks about this, she talks about this in chapter 6, but it's such a total mindfuck because it does not feel like a genuine compliment. And I think it's because like even when you say like you bringing something to the attention of the group, I can't imagine, please excuse me, but I can't imagine not taking what you say into consideration, but then it will be the norm for you because you just go off into a hole and have this book club meeting once a week. Then you have to go back into your life where these things happen. But that resonated with me because even still I struggle with it because I know I'm not conventionally smart. I'm not smart in the way most people are smart, but
No.
some people think I'm smart.
Don't say it like that because the quote comes from, they say it comes from Albert Einstein, but it could come from anywhere, somewhere else. But the idea is that there are different realms of intelligence and each one is needed. You can't be only book smart and not street smart. you'll die. You can't be only street smart. Well, in my opinion, you can, but you can't be only street smart with no formal education in whatever realm you get that formal education, whether that be from Dr. SDs, whether that be from sitting in a classroom. So you can never, you are again judging you as a beautiful fish by your ability to fly. Why would you do that? Y'all are in two different realms. The birds fly, you swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I got it.
But
hey, Rashid, I didn't see you come in. I'm sorry. Basic intelligence on and why. I just, I have a lot of friends with a lot of degrees, law, medical, doctorates, and for all the things. And when they sitting up, like, you know how that can go, girl, without you know how that shit go.
Can I say something?
Please.
Oh, I thought I was still muted. Oh shit. I'm to say it anyway. Just because someone has formal education in one arena doesn't mean that they're more intelligent or capable or any more than you are. Your ability to evaluate, your depth, your critical thinking skills, your tenacity for knowledge and your yearning for knowledge, there is no limit to intelligence. It's what you put into it. And yours comes like that. It comes like that. You could be a therapist the minute that you're qualified because of your desire to learn and evaluate what you're given. You don't just read something and just, oh, it says this. You read something, you read people, you evaluate each facet. No. So no.
Okay. I appreciate that. Melinda got something to say. I'm sorry. And she had
I
her
know
hand
some
up and everything.
educated idiots.
know,
Please do not say that. For instance, and I'm gonna be messy. I'm gonna be snarky / messy. I used to work for Attorney Benjamin Crump. That man is not that smart. He can't talk.
Yeah.
And he tried to correct me on grammar once. I wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
Don't
Be trying to hold it
please.
together.
That is not a true measure of intelligence.
Okay.
Degrees, I mean, it's a certain level of endurance, I would say, maybe, but even still, some people cheat. People have people write their papers for it. Like, it's not a true measure. Please don't do that to yourself. You are like Kara just said, you seek knowledge. You're always trying to understand what something really means and peel it back. That is what intelligence is. You're always a student.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay,
you never stop learning. You have to always be curious and seek information. That's a huge hallmark of intelligence.
And your ability to apply. Like we were saying last book club with was it Sharika? And you literally walked her from never wanting to be in the kitchen to her own way of like that. That amazed me. Like I was like, girl, I don't know how to help you because you got to get in that kitchen. but the way you walked her through something so specific for her, and under 5 minutes, you had it figured. Everybody can't do that.
Actually, that's a good point. I appreciate that. That was good because I know her. I know her well enough to know how I can direct her I can help her figure out her thing. Grace, what you got?
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm literally reading from chapter 6, right? Nothing is more common in a woman's life than her inability to digest a sincere compliment.
That's the one.
Although it could be a matter of modesty or could be attributed to shyness, although too many women are not shy, they are just starved, she will immediately cast it aside as though it was an old turnip. Man.
Yep. That's what, that's that. When I have that underlined, I never have a problem when somebody be like, you beat, girl, if the food is good, if the mug is sitting, if the baby is cute, if the family pictures are fabulous, I know these things to be so. But when people start talking about the mind, I'm like, you're blowing smoke up my ass. I'm working on it. I'm writing these words into my DNA, girl. I will let them transform me. Don't worry. Melinda, do you have your hand raised again, or is this the first?
Yes, again, I
Okay,
do.
okay.
I was just real quick. I
Please.
was gonna say, yeah, the application, the turning around and doing that, you give yourself way more credit for that. But I wanted to know who convinced you that you weren't smart.
I think just all of the any contribution that I have ever had to make, any contribution that I've tried to make outside of laboring has been devalued. So like I will offer my opinion, and as a projector, please excuse me, I do have a lot to contribute. And it's never been applied. It's never been applied. When I did hair, it's like, that's a shit bag. This is this, this is this, this is this. The only time people apply my notes, it's like, you should tone the red down. You should give it a more, the red should be more copper than burgundy. The brown should be more ash than this chocolate. If I'm giving you a zhuzh, if I tell you your eyebrow need to be lighter or darker, you're gonna do it. But like when if I tell you to add a little bit of, put a pat of butter in your green beans before you listening to that. But if I tell you something about life, love, and relationships, the things that I'm the most, when I share nuggets, gems from the things that I'm the most passionate about, that's why when the people was like, oh, you need a Patreon, we want to talk to you. Oh, you need to do this. I immediately jumped on it. I immediately pushed, into it, because this was the first experience I've ever had in my life where my intellectual property was valuable. I've never experienced. I'll be 40 next year, Melinda. My intellectual property by people who are smart. I mean, and I don't mean like, I mean people who are like, that they distinguish people, all kinds of people. It's like, oh, you know what you're talking about. I want to talk to you more. And so like people track me down, they send me emails, they want to, and I never experienced this before. I'm leaning totally in because this is my first time ever having some shit like this happen to me. I'm still wrapping my mind around it though. But even with that, I feel like because we're in conversation with women I believe to be smart, and I'm just like, you over here talking to me and the smart ladies. I'm working on it.
There's stuff in this book that you have already said to me.
Yeah.
I have a question. Never mind.
Please don't, never mind, please.
Yes. Very true.
Do you feel that you possibly equate accomplishment with intelligence? Some people equate, oh, this person has 4 degrees, this person's really smart, as opposed to we're both really smart, but she went into this education program, she got her bachelor's, she got her master's, she got her PhD, whereas I went to high school, I finished high school, I did undergrad, I went to beauty school, I got my cosmetology license, and you're with people every day, learning about women, learning about men, learning about elders, and the capability is the same. Like, it's not about the opportunity and the road someone took. Your capability, your capacity to learn, your ability to absorb information and use it and evaluate it and share it and make more recommendations is vast, which is a huge indicator of your IQ and intelligence, your capacity. It has nothing to do with, what you did. So what I'm saying is, do you equate in your mind like intelligence with, oh, this person is so smart just because they have degrees, whereas you could have 1,000 degrees, but you have degrees in other ways. I don't know if that made sense.
Even like graduation, like passing out Christmas trees, and all my friends had ropes around their neck, and I'm hanging out, we having a good time. Because I focus more on like people and enjoyment and connection, I'm not classified. I'm saying all my friends dripping in ropes. I'm in the back. They call and so it's like I didn't finish.
But if you were to go for your PhD in psychology It would be Dr. Self like that. And you'd be like, oh, what? Like it's hard? For you, it wouldn't be hard.
I can't
You
sit
have
down
the
and shut up. That's
capacity,
another
you have the
thing.
intelligence.
Because I can't sit down and shut up long enough. Also, that's another reason why I feel like even when I talk to like all the women who like I have so many honorary doctorates because I've taken care of all of my friends while they have pursued their doctorate degrees. And it's like you sit down and shut the fuck up very well. And I'd be like, I could never do that because I can't sit down and shut up like that. And so, like, I do attribute my inability to sit still and be quiet to me not being very bright. Melinda.
Okay. You said this the other day. You said you made a shit ton of money when you did hair because you know how to do all the things. I would say, as a woman with 4 fucking degrees,
wow,
that the ability to parlay your natural gifts and skills into actual money is way more important than a damn degree. Way more important. You know how many people can't do that? I struggle with it. And I know a lot of shit.
Wow.
So please, I'm gonna disabuse you of all that right
now.
Disabuse.
Okay.
All right,
I'm not trying to be. I'm again. I've been able to find other places where I have gathered my value. But it's gonna take me a minute to wrap my mind around the fact that my thoughts, my thinking. Okay, I'm working on it, but I appreciate that.
I just want to throw another one on the fire for you.
Please. That was the one?
No, that was the one. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Do anybody
I just want to
next?
say
Please.
art school is the first thing that has made sense. I feel like every degree and other thing before now has been what I was supposed to do or what somebody else, was thinking. But the way art school is ran, where I'm like sitting in class doing art shit, it still blows my mind. Like, not only am I in school, but like, oh, this is perfect for the ADHD or whatever the hell was going on. This is perfect for that. Not to mention half my damn teachers are, they on somebody's spectrum with me. So it seems. So yeah, no, it ain't. Believe that, girl. Tell another life story. Give yourself another story, cause I was barely hanging on. Smart, intelligent, yeah, but like, so it still was very different from other people. Still, it's the first time.
I did enjoy beauty school because beauty school, and I think that's why I learned. Beauty school taught me how to learn. I left college and went to beauty school. The first half of the day, when you learn a skill in beauty school, the first half of the day you learn theory. You go to lunch, you get some fresh air, you come back, you focus on the practical. You immediately begin to apply what you learned that morning. And so, like, reading this book, that's why I have to go back into the introduction. That's why I want to talk to everybody about it individually. It's like, if you're going to start the book over, let's talk about the introduction together because I want to write these words into my DNA. I want to go from theory to practical all day, every day. And so this was helpful. This was very helpful. I appreciate y'all. Everybody thank y'all. Do anybody want to go next? If not, I can go next. I'm still having
I was trying to come off mute real quick.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Moo Moo. That's a cute Moo Moo.
Thank you. So, the moment I started in chapter 6, I was snot and tears. Okay, like I literally had to have a roll of tissue at my desk all day because I was reading this when I needed to take a visual break from the screen. And there's so many areas that I can touch on, but I'm going to choose one and stick with it because all of it applied to me in my life. I'll start by saying, kind of giving a little context. So, my mom is bipolar schizophrenic. She had her psychotic break when I was 7. At that age, she gave custody, temporary guardianship of myself and my 2 siblings. I'm a middle child, oldest daughter, to my aunt, the second oldest sibling, who herself had 3 kids, sons who were adults. So here it is, her 3 sons, adults out the house, and now you get stuck with 3 other kids. And those 3 kids were, of course, including myself. Already from that point, I had a mother wound. There is an abandonment wound there. So in coming in here and looking at this and starting off in the beginning of the chapter, it talks about other parents were always looking heavenward, ignoring or abusing the child, or giving her the old icicle eye. When I read that line, I immediately, excuse me, because I get emotional just to recall this. I spent years in therapy dealing with this, and it still has impact. So that aunt was my first abuser. The mother wound goes so deep. So I am named after her mother. I'm my grandmother's namesake. And the reason why that I've come to understand, should I say, I was the one that she took all of her anger and frustration out on. What I've gathered is because of what happened between her and her mom, my grandmother, where she was 17, she was caught with a boy, and my grandmother beat her through the house, down the street, butt naked, and kicked her out. Here I am, named after that very woman that she harbored resentment against. I'm named after her, and everybody in my family says I have her mannerisms. Yes, I get it. I do have an old soul, okay? I have some old mannerisms. I do. Now, because she passed away a year before I was born, I never met her. But that's why I felt like she would take out her anger and her wrath and all those things on me, though it does not excuse it. So with that, I can understand all the elements that took place there and what she had built up in her, though it does not justify the action. And that icicle eye was what I would often get. She would stare me down with this anger and like disgust up until I was 14. So I wear the scars on me. It is not a badge of honor. I still have them. And that's just the physical scars, not to mention the emotional ones. So when I turned 13, I started fighting back. So there's a quote in here where it talks about if you've ever been called, let me find it here. I underlined it. And I want to go to it. I was trying to flip through
the last paragraph. Uh-huh.
Yeah. If you've ever been called, I was called rebellious. And I was indeed rebellious. And why I was rebellious is because, one, I didn't have a mother. At least that's what I felt. I didn't have a mother, and they didn't have a daddy. because my dad literally stayed 4 houses up the road from me and would never once come through. And I see the timer. I'm sorry, I should have waited till the end, because I got a lot. It's a lot. I ain't even get to the main course. Maybe I should post, like, stick a pin here.
Okay.
To save time for everybody. Because I mean, I can finish.
Oh, you can finish.
I can go to the end, but it won't, it's gonna be longer than that minute and 10 seconds.
Okay, you can finish.
So, okay. So I was the rebellious one, and yes, I fought back. And at 14, I left the house and I left my siblings because I called another aunt. Now, again, these wounds, these cycles, the siblings falling out because of whatever was going on with this mom, my grandmama. Okay. And I called the other sibling and told her what all was going on. And she came to get me the next day. Well, I go from place to place to place. I'm going to shorten that part up. I went from her house to a cousin's house to a great aunt's house, to all the different people's houses. I was just passed around because here it is. I endured so much. Now I'm acting out in this trauma. So I was labeled rebellious. So not only in physical abuse, then there's the sexual abuse element there too. So I'm acting out on this. So yes, I got the label rebellious. And I wasn't joking when I said I've been cussing old bitches out since I was 14, because I have been. Okay. And I'm also that one that will tell and point out the pedophile, the one that's been touching on the kids. So in that, I was exiled, the whole family. So yes, I spent a lot of time alone with no support from family because I'm not going to have my kids around them. And I know what they did, and they protected my abuser. So in that, as I'm going through here and I'm reading, because all this had me, I come across the collapsed mother. And then as she said, the people collapse. When people collapse, they usually slide into one of 3 feeling states. Now I'll go on down to that last one. Or a pit, an emotional replay of an old wounding, often uncorrected and unaccounted for, injustice done to them when they themselves were children. I found myself stuck there often, cycling through. And yes, even though I've gotten all the things and I've moved through it, and all the labels that people put on me, that people being family, I'm not that. I'm constantly trying to show that I'm not that. And find myself constantly trying to reach whatever measures, goalposts that, or trying to fit, and you still don't fit. But in that was me. But there's another part that's me too. And that's the unmothered mother. Being a mom, having 2 daughters. And this here is the part that had me all messed up. And I'm going to say all messed up. It just brings back up things that I've went through and discussed and unpacked through family therapy and worked through with my children. Because with all that I went through, there is remnants. So there is no goddess mother to teach me as a child mother how to be a mature mother. I had to learn it through trial, error, and lesson, but also those things that I did not want my children to experience. And I had to also do some deep reflection within myself so that I would not become who was my abuser. And there's a sentence here in the large text on page 176. When a woman has a collapsing mother, she must refuse to become one herself too. that was me, and having to reflect and not wanting to be that. And so it led to me judging myself so harshly as a mom and criticizing myself, literally coming down very hard, like not having any support, doing it alone, and feeling like you fucking shit up as a mom. Because when you're raising two humans, two young ladies, I don't want to fuck them up, okay? And I also don't want them to go out in the world carrying traumas caused by me, because I know what that weight feels like, okay? So, in that, then there's another part here. I want to find it here. I want to make sure I got it up, and I promise I'm going to try to wrap this up. Here it is. Is this it? No. Talking about bringing her own kids in. Here we go. Is this one it? I call myself trying to have these all tabbed, but I got so much stuff underlined. Here we go. Here it is. I found it. You see, there are no two ways about it. A mother must be mothered in mothering her own offspring. Though a woman has an inalienable spiritual and physical bond with her offspring, in the world of instinctual wild woman, she does not just suddenly become a fully formed temporal mother all by herself.
That
For
got me
me,
too.
that went back to the me not wanting to fuck shit up and judging myself so harshly as a mom. And one of the things that I am always doing, one, I always let my children express themselves freely, tell me how they feel, but I show them how to do so respectfully. Though when they reach adolescence, it kind of goes the respectful part, because they're girls, so they talk. I don't want to take their voice from them, but I have to redirect and like, hey, we can disagree without the disrespect, because they got mouths too, and I don't want to take their voice away. But in that, not wanting to create trauma, I'm not perfect, and we've had our whole bouts, and a lot of stuff come out as they will tell you how they feel. I let my children tell me how they feel, and then we're going to sit and have a talk about it. But I am not bigger than accountability and atonement as a mom, because they're human with their own feelings, and they're their own being, and I want them to be that. That is how I raise them. However, it is hard, and I didn't have that guidance. I found myself attaching to older women who maybe even did not exhibit the healthy things that I would need in a mom, but also, and this come up, that neighbor, okay, my neighbor, and I had to pull away from her, and I went through a little grievance, a little state of grief with that, because and having to sit with that, and understanding the necessity of reparenting or remothering myself. Okay. But I did have other mothers that I went and, attached to, wanting that, but did not have that in the formative stages of my children's years. So I'm out here sometimes fucking shit up. And because I am woman enough to sit with my shit, I could say I was fucking some shit up. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So because I'm unmothered and they have no goddess mother to guide, I'm fucking shit up, and I'm finding people, women online, to find some type of guidance to trying to figure shit out. That is how I became who I am today. That is in part how I got here. But this whole thing really had me all messed up, and I've been crying since last night, since last night and this here and today, because the whole thing, like, I can touch on all of this because all of this applied in my life, you know. um Dang it, I don't want to, I don't want to talk and yap up everyone else either. I want to give somebody else chime because I got so much, but I understand out of respect for everyone else, I want everybody else to share theirs as well, because I don't want to go through all the shit I had underlined here in life lessons. That may have to be another conversation or something, another Zoom.
We probably will need to do a chapter 6 continue, but this was
Mhm.
good. I appreciate you for your insight because I feel very similar about being mothered into mother. Like that was I still feel like I haven't been. I'm having a really hard time with. I think that's why I tell a lot of women don't have don't have kids, don't have kids, don't have kids. It's not because I don't want you to experience the joys of motherhood, but there is so much you need, girl, in order
Yes.
to do it in a way where you won't feel like a goddamn shit bag. And
Mhm.
most of us do not have the resources, the time, the care we need to properly care for our young ones. And
Mhm.
so I just be like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I will say this though. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it. And this goes to show that because and when I say we, because I'm speaking in general as a collective, because many women experience this, because we're not alone. We're never alone in this. There are many women that experience this very thing and being unmothered, and not having a goddess mother. Um, we come down hard on ourselves, and we're oftentimes comparing ourselves to other mothers, or at least I found myself comparing myself to other mothers and thinking they were a better mom. And one of the things that were said to me by my daughter, because she had a friend who was going through a situation and she shared it with me, and I called her friend's mom, who is a psychologist, and the friend's dad is an attorney. And you think that one who has the PhD in psychology, like they wouldn't experience or go through this from their child, who seemingly, if you know all the fundamentals and the building blocks and all the things that why did your child come out like this, and just doing this. And my daughter said, Mom, sometimes those parents that seemingly have it all together, like they're that perfect parent, they be the worst ones.
mm-hmm.
It was like very validating, and in a way kind of like easing my mind. In a way it was somewhat like a compliment, almost like, Mom, don't beat up on yourself. You all right. Yeah, we have our spats. Our family therapists refer to me and my oldest as the twins because one, we look alike, and two, we have similar temperaments. We are extremely stubborn, and when we at it, we at it. But she's a Scorpio, so she normally goes off the handle, and I'm calm until I'm not. I am a former crash out. My kids got it honest. They crash out too, but we've been through years of therapy together. So we control our crash outs. Okay. I'm just very patient with it. And now that I'm medicated, as my oldest said, we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I am a recovering former crash out. Okay. Have been since I was damn 14, and thus all the things my family, like the rebellion, I was rebellious. You couldn't tell me shit because I was in them streets from sun up to sundown, raising myself. Okay. So because I had to raise myself, you can't tell me a motherfucking thing.
Okay.
And even today, you can't. So, all right. I yield the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody want to go next? No? I'll go. Go. Yes, KJ.
Wrote down a couple of notes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
You know, as I rolled through this chapter, I was looking through, as I was reading through it, I saw a lot of things that were in there that I unfortunately had already like lived through. I'm not saying that I had already, I'm 100% on point with everything. Carlisa, start the time. Okay. So when it got down to other folks, one of the harder lessons that I had to get, and this chapter reminded me of that, was like in my life, getting closure and getting closure was none of my business. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Other people and how they treated me and what they did to me. At a certain point, expecting them to tell me why they did what they did, they don't even have the emotional depth or latitude to be able to explain it. So at some point, I was like, Janelle, are you just gonna really run in circles, hoping to get an answer for people who don't even have the basic knowledge to articulate their own health, emotional, and relational well-being? You're not gonna get it. You're just not gonna get it. So Dr. Estes was 100% on point with that. Yeah, I don't know where this book was 10 years ago. Well, I guess it was in print. I don't know where I was 10 years ago. I just leave that there. In the book, in the chapter, I don't know exactly what it was, where it was, but she mentioned that, I'm sorry, y'all have it on this Kindle. I gotta dig through it a little bit. Different. People, like ladies, are looked at as being different. And I have heard that word so much. And the context, the emotional context it wasn't malicious. It wasn't mean. It was just like, I just tolerate you because you're there. There was no real curiosity as to who I was as a human being and how I thought and the things that I felt. Other words that they will use are unorthodox. I heard that word a lot. I had been here before. I'm off the grid, non-mainstream, words like that. But it really was never a complimentary type thing. It was either that or it was just, let me hear about what you're doing in your life for entertainment. But it wasn't really ever just joining you in what you're doing. Let me see, what else did I write down? And it got to the point to where, and this kind of came to my mind with the ugly duckling. I said ugly duckling went through phases and stages in his life, whether it was a swan, whether his mother. I could see them looking at him and saying, okay, it's my turn. It's my turn. Here comes somebody along that doesn't have much support. Obviously, they look different. For whatever reason, look different. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. They just look different. So here's my turn to be around this person just for the hell of it. Now, the outcome of it, I don't know. More often than not, I ran into that with men. I felt like with men, it was more so a conquer her, or let me see how I can elevate my status amongst other men because I have an attractive woman with me. Not because they were interested in me and building a life and cultivating a future and iron sharpening iron. It was more so, I got a bad yellow bone. Yeah, niggas still do that. I got a bad yellow bone on my arm. I want the respect of men because I got an attractive woman on my arm. I never confronted them on it, but in my instinct, I knew that's what it was, really, in the majority of the cases. Not all, but a majority of the cases. one of the ways that another thing, where I'm at, oh, I got a minute. Um, I'm going back to these folks who don't know how to treat people and look at you like an ugly duckling. Honestly, they just be in the way. They dare to get what you need to get out of them. And at some point later on in my life, which was probably like the past 5 years, I just leaned into that and I was like, well, I'm just gonna get what I'm gonna get out of you and let them think that it was a mutual relationship when it really wasn't. I'm talking friends, I'm talking family members, whosoever, fill in the blank. I'm just gonna ride this wave out, get the lessons that I need to get, and move on to the next level. And I hate that I live that way, but it was just in my deck of cards from birth. That was all I knew. It was like a survival tactic. But what I had come to realize is these people just occupy my energetic space. They just were. It was they just were. They just were on so many different levels. Lastly, with this last 30 seconds or so, when it get down to folks and people, and Dr. Estes mentioned this influence part, that influence part is true. The winter is so true. The winter now, ain't no telling how long it's gonna last. It could last for years, months, whatever. But you start to influence people, and the people that's meant to stick with you, they gonna stick. Case in point. Maybe like 3 days ago, I had never heard my daddy say anything like this. And well, in my 40 something years, he's like in his mid 70s. Never heard my daddy say, Janelle, I don't even consider family DNA. He said, I have people in my life that I'm close with that I was born, not that he was born. He said, it's people that I'm not related to by blood, and I consider them my family. Although I have people who in our family we're related to by blood, and I don't consider them family, although legally I know they are. But my relationship with the other people who are not blood family is stronger, and I consider them my family. My daddy don't go to church. He ain't never went to church. He's not even a spiritual person. He's military. And when we were growing up, he was very military minded. He's loosened up a little bit now. I never not one time thought my dad would say something like that. And it almost brought me to tears because I talked to my dad a lot about just the things that I experienced in general as a woman on a surface level. He knows that I'm in this book club, and I tell him about some of the more creative things that we're doing. And of course, he knows I went to Dallas, and I told him about the coloring pages, and I told him about how we get on Zoom and we meet. And I told him, I said, Dad, I ain't never seen nobody just meet total strangers and snatch us up off the internet. I said, I feel so behind because they done been East Coast, West Coast, up north. They done been somewhere everywhere. And here it is. This time last year, I was boo-hoo-hooing because I ain't have this type of structure, this type of community. I had never heard my daddy say nothing like that, but I know it's the influence on him. And that's all I got to say.
That was good.
Yeah.
I like the way you said snatching folks up off the internet.
Girl. I said, wait, I thought we were supposed to have stranger danger.
No.
Oh, another thing. Girl, my daddy was like, when we was growing up, we weren't supposed to talk to strangers, but you just talking to strangers like it's nothing. I was like, Dad, it's like this jet stream and this wave. And I just jumped on it, and I ain't looking back, and I ain't mad about it.
I say this all the time, though, from talking to I be in people business, because what we learn about the introduction to this book is that your business is my business. Because I don't believe me to be my sister's keeper. I am my sister. And so the women that I have familiarity with, I have the most emotional distance from. It's easy to make deep and profound connections with strangers. Our stories are our medicine. I feel safer with people I don't know. It's easier for me to connect with people I don't know. It's easy for me to bond. It's easier for me to bond. And I'm somebody that's not family. Kelly Blocker told me to stop saying I'm not family oriented because I have a son and a husband. But my husband is my friend. All I want to do is be a valuable member of my son's community. I'm not really focusing on the family thing just because that can get murky and obligatory, and I don't really appreciate that. But I've never had any problems with making connections with strangers. I have had to sharpen my tool and refine my vetting skills, but as I get older, I'm gonna have to do that anyway. Um and so this has been a gift to me for sure. I never felt like I don't do the I mean we grown now. What a stranger gonna do? You know what a white minivan with no windows in it. You know not to go over there. You know when people look weird. Your senses, we learn it. That's what I'm like. This book is going to teach us how to by the time we get done with this, we'll hear our people coming. We'll hear their footsteps before we see them. And that's really what I'm hoping that we can continue to do. So you know I love you, KJ. I cherish you so much. I appreciate you for championing our causes. I appreciate you for seeing about everybody in all the ways that you do. I love the way we bonded in Dallas. And cheers to the future, girl, for sure.
Facts. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anybody want to go next? What?
Did I see Darlene creep up in here?
Maybe
Is
11.
Darlene
We
in
have
here?
11 people in here. No,
Yeah,
you
she's in
did.
here. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Then
Okay. Anybody want to go next? If not,
Yeah, she did. I see her.
she in here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh!
I'm here.
Hey, Darlena. I didn't see you.
Just tiptoed in.
Okay. Okay. Anybody want to go next? If not, I can. Okay. The part of it that when I sent y'all that voice memo yesterday, excuse my neighbors if you can hear them. The part about the spring always comes. This whole page is it's marked up real bad. I don't know. It's not gonna show you because everything is all blurry. But I just want to read the part of it that just set my soul on fire. It is interesting to note that among wolves, no matter how sick, no matter how cornered, no matter how alone, afraid, or weakened, the wolf will continue. She will lope, even with a broken leg. She will go near others, seeking the protection of the pack. She will strenuously outweigh, outwit, outrun, and outlast whatever is, bedeviling her. She will put her all into taking breath after breath. She will drag herself if necessary, just like the duckling, from place to place. Lisha read this till she finds a good place, a healing place, a place for thriving. The hallmark of the wild nature is that it goes on, it perseveres. This is not something we do, it's something we are naturally and innately. We cannot thrive. When we cannot thrive, we go on until we can thrive again. The inner wildlife continues and we go on. So if women must, they will paint blue sky on jail walls. Excuse me. If the schemes are burnt, they will spend more. If the harvest is destroyed, they will sow more immediately. Women will draw doors where there are none and open them and pass through into new ways and new lives, because wild nature persists and prevails. Women persist and prevail. The duckling is led to within an inch of his life. He has felt lonely, cold, frozen, harassed, chased, shot at, given up on, unnourished, out their way, out of bounds, at the edge of life and death, and not knowing what will come next. And now comes the most important part of the story, she said. Spring approaches. New life quickens. A new turn, a new try is possible. The most important thing is to hold on, hold out for your creative life, for your solitude, for your time to be and do, and for your very life. Hold on. And the promise from the wild nature is this: after winter, The spring always comes. And I went back into the introduction after I read this because one of the things she talks about that comes naturally to us is that we are fiercely stalwart and very brave. And stalwart is a word that I had never seen or read before. And so I always look when she talking to us about how the things that are innate. I always go back and read the definition of stalwart and like all of the things that center the meaning. And another meaning for stalwart is keeps going even after things get hard. That whole page ran me thin. I know so many women. I have been through marriages, divorces, babies, deaths of children, parents, spouses, losing businesses, losing homes, losing hope, losing everything, getting it again. I have been through so much with the womanhood. And at the end of the day, the constant is after winter, spring always comes. That was the beginning and the end of it for me. I wept. I wept. That's it. I don't even think I talked for 5 minutes. I did good. Anyway, that was it for me. That was the beginning and the end of it for me, girl. That meant so much to me for her to make an observation like that, for her to tell us this, for us to remind us of this, for us to be able to come together and read these words together. After winter must come spring. I thought about that. That's been ringing in my ears. That little one part from that Lauryn Hill song. That's been ringing in my ears since I read this, Sharika. Anyway, that was the beginning and the end of it for me. When we cannot thrive, we go on until we can thrive again. Amen and Merry Christmas. Anybody want to go next?
I haven't finished chapter 6. I haven't even began, but whoever said that first sentence was the hitter, that was one. And then that one about so now that you what did it say? I think it was like a third paragraph down. So now that you know, like you gotta do your whatever you gotta do to get the thing. And I always think about for me, I'm so grateful that like you said, I have been through a whole lot, like not, no more than anybody else, I don't think, but a whole lot. But one of the things I'm very grateful for is that I will fucking get up and try again. The womanhood will get up and try again. Like we have that over men. Niggas are really still tripping about fourth grade Tasha or even they mama who they ain't figured out, fuck them over. But like, and I might show up guarded, and I might show up, wearing my trauma on my sleeve. But I never cease to show up and try this shit again. Women never cease to stop and try this shit again. And they supposed to be the leaders, and they supposed to be so strong, and we so emotional. Emotional must be a good thing because y'all niggas be done, or either like y'all will get in something and not be wholehearted in it just because you still scared. But like we are that. Like we really do that. And I think that's magical. And I'm grateful for the book too, because like you said, where was it 10 years ago? But I am a firm believer that, the book open when you're ready. Um, so I'm grateful for this particular book, because that was the one that got me to go on and join the Patreon. I don't even remember what words it was, but we keep coming up with another set of words that just hit. So I really do appreciate that. And one of the biggest things for me too is where Dr. Estes talk about how the stories matter and how you've been talking about, they make you feel bad for being nosy. Like, no, we supposed to be talking in community and sharing these stories. Like, duh, we feel better from other people's story. It was never the church. Sorry, Pastor, but you know, it's always been about this, and we find this every time. I don't know about anybody else. I think I can speak for all women. Like we get back on track. And again, that's what lets me know it's intuition, it's innate, like it's in us. Anything else would be like, I guess not standing in your power, but just us, getting up, seeing that there's a difference, that that we were doing wrong. Because there are a lot of people, including our parents, who did not notice that something was different, something not right was going on. They just like fell into it and perpetuated that same thing. But like, to be born at such a time as this, reading this book at such a time as this, going through this, being on the same timeline with y'all and other women at such a time as this, is very magical. Like, yeah, I love it here. How do you do it? How do you do it? Mm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all.
You got, I don't know, it's like mine sees me do things and then you'll see it at the
It's
bottom of,
just, it should be like thumbs up too.
yeah, you could do
They
the
did
thumbs
that.
up. When I'm doing like this, it looks at it as a thumbs down, so I have to like not.
What's the new way though? I feel like we're being very millennial auntie when we do this. They got a little
Oh,
Not
fake.
millennial auntie.
wait, what is it?
They
I
got a
forget.
little fake.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, well, fuck them. We millennial.
Uh,
But yeah.
I think I also feel I do feel like it's magical. I hate saying shit like that because people
It's
be trying to
magic.
rob us of that. I don't be wanting to. It's vulnerable to say that. It's very vulnerable to say that. I'd rather weep in front of 1,000 people than talk about how magical this experience has been for me. Unfortunately. um. Anyway. Anybody else want to go?
I do.
Okay.
Because what got me was not that. What got me was something totally different because of where I was at when I read it.
Okay.
I was kind of in a bit of a paralyzed state with things I've been doing and wanting. And I started, generally when I get into that place, and I've been there many times, I would just kind of like freeze up and just, thoughts on a loop, fear thoughts in a loop, can't get out of it, right? Knowing that if I just move, I'll find my way out of it. And this was the part that got me, the frozen feeling, frozen creativity. And down at the bottom, well, freezing is the worst thing a person can do. So like this was just totally speaking to me. Sorry, that's my computer. In that moment, it was like so on point. I needed that part so bad. And then at the end, when she says, like, go ahead, struggle through it, blah, blah, blah. But she says, where can I start it? Well, basically, whatever you do, if you're a dancer, dance, actress, playwright, poet, musician, or any other, generally just stop talking. Don't say one more word unless you're a singer. Shut yourself in a room with a ceiling or in a clearing under the sky. Do your art. Generally, a thing cannot freeze if it is moving. So move. Keep moving. And I was like, yeah. And that just made me like leap out the bed, like, hell yeah. I just had that started the fire again for me because I've been in a really weird place in my career for a while uh with this endeavor that I started 3 years ago. It's been very difficult because the way I did it when I worked at the agency that I started doing this at, the setup is so unique that it's hard to turn around and then do it for yourself because I was working at a place where the services were free for the clients, but I got paid a salary. So they weren't paying me. So when you come out and you say, I want to help these people, they're not going to be the ones paying your bills. And it's been a little bit of a struggle figuring out how to make that work for me. In the midst of still trying to fit into the workforce and being a lot of, I've had some of the same personal challenges a lot of people talked about, but the ones that get me in the gut still are the ones in my career, and I talk about this often. Just the fact that I have just had such a hard time being in spaces, like whether it's getting in or once I get in, staying there has been like the fights of my life. And in the last, since I left that last job I was just referring to, that was 2022, I have had 2 opportunities dry up on me between 30 days and 6 months that were supposed to last at least 1 or 2 years apiece. And finding myself back at square one, like, okay, figure it out. You have the requisite skills to make something work. Do it. And then running up against a brick wall again, panicking, feeling fear, and finding myself back at that square one. And part of it I know was personal. I think the root of it was personal in that I believe there was beliefs that I had formed at a very young age that were holding me back. So I did EMDR therapy 2 years ago. I believe I got to most of, if not all, the root of that part. But then since I moved, just the matter of rebuilding my life again, separating from my parents completely, separating from other family members that I thought were, well, that I considered close, but really weren't helping the cause, and reworking my chosen family, finding new chosen family. I am in a place now where I'm taking a huge gamble on myself, and I've never done that to this degree. I'm not going to share what I'm doing because I want to keep that to myself. So when it works, I can pop out with the story. Y'all be like, "What?" But yeah, if you knew what I was doing right now, you probably think I'm insane. I question it every couple days. But I part of it was me going more into my creativity and out of this, I mean, still using this, but being more connected to this and just saying, well, shit, I know the thing. I'm just gonna, well, I can tell you what I'm doing, but I won't tell you what the goal is. I just decided to start a media company. Like, well, I'm just gonna put out my own shit. Like I'm Oprah for a channel. And that's how I'm going to express myself. I get to have creative control over my words and my point of view and my philosophies. And it feels really good to do that because I'm always talking about it, but I always felt like I was trying to prove to other people that I knew what I was talking about. And I'm like, fuck them. I know. And in private conversations, they'll back me up. But when I go out to the public square, no one was there supporting me. So I was like, well, fuck them. Just do your own thing, support yourself. And the people that are close to me that I told, which is very few, are very supportive, and they know I have what it takes, and they believe in me, and I'm okay with that. I don't need a bunch of applause. And I took your advice. I started that new channel, as you know, because I know you follow it. I think I got almost like 100 followers in just a few days, so it's working. And I am allowing myself to be seen by strangers more than the people that know me, because I think that's where my people are. And I'm moving on that, both on the business side with consulting and on the personal side with the personal development with Detroit's Daughter. I have a whole cadence. When I tell you I got my shit together so hard, I have all my content planned for both platforms for the rest of the year. And on a calendar and everything. And I haven't been that organized in a very long time. So, what are you saying?
I realized my sound ain't. I'm just talking.
Oh, you said something.
How do you feel about, because your new work is very organized and very informative, especially on the YouTube side.
Oh, you've been watching it?
Hell yeah. That's why I be like, she on here.
So you're one of the 9 people.
Yes. Proudly. proudly.
Yes, thank
And
you.
I struggle with pre-planning
I did
because
too.
it feels put your YouTube in the chat so that people can go see
Okay.
about you.
Yes,
I don't know, it feels inauthentic. I only want to post what I was thinking and feeling that day. How do you get
that's how I
around
used
that?
to feel. That's how I used to feel. And what
Okay.
got me away from it was this, which basically ties into what late. I can't do two things at once. So I'm gonna talk and then I'm gonna
Okay.
post it. So hold on, let me
Okay.
get back to the window because I'm not even looking at y'all. Hold on. Okay. What did it was I had to hone in on what my actual overall message was. Like, because I kind of feel like I can be a little all over the place because I have a lot of interests and I've done a lot of things, but I never felt like I could focus.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, one of the biggest tools I used to get there was ChatGPT.
Okay.
Chatty Patty, she got me there because
Dedicated.
I was just having, and I was having more personal inquiries with it because I was having certain dreams. And then I just have a tendency to I use it to help organize my thoughts because I just have a lot of thoughts. And it's so funny because it's trained now to where I start talking about stuff with it. And it's like, here's a framework because I always want a framework for everything. Like, give me a framework, give me a process, give me a 3-step, whatever. And it was funny because I went to my deep, so right when I was in the midst of that frozen point I was talking about, I was like, okay, so if I was gonna get a PhD based on what you know on my background, what would you say I should study? And I'm like, and
Ooh.
ChatGPT was like, you do not need another degree. You
Ah!
have a
That is hilarious.
yes.
That's a good
Like, you do
question.
not need another degree. If you want to, these are maybe some things you could do, but you really don't need to do that. You are already a thought leader. You have great ideas. You got you're tying all these different things together that people don't tie together. Maybe you should think about present that.
Excuse me.
And I was like, damn, that's deep. And so just continue and I mean, and I will chat that thing to death. I will talk to Chat GPT all day. And I love that because even though in the beginning, funny side story, when Chat GPT first started and I figured out what it could do, I just was like, oh, just asking it a million questions. And it was like, okay, that's enough. I come back later. It like
Right.
told me,
You
it
was
put on.
you wearing it, you had put a short in it.
I did. I wore it out because I couldn't stop asking questions. But now it has much more endurance. It has not told me that since. But I talk about business, I talk about personal stuff, systems of oppression, just the things I observe in the world. And I'm always trying to figure out how they tie together because that's how I think. I think I see everything as related. Or I can always relate one thing to something seemingly unrelated because they have similar attributes to them. And because I do that so much, it's so funny. My business consulting content is very much, it's almost identical to my personal development content because I found the commonalities and how they are the same. And it makes it easier for me to move between the two because the concepts are the same. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. But then I ask it, okay, so I'm like, I want to do this. Tell me how I can do it. And it gives me ideas, and I shoot down the ones I don't like, and I adopt the ones that I do. And it basically will give me a whole week. Here, do this in this cadence. And I'll be like, all right. So I'm willing to try to see if it works. And if it don't work, I ask it to do something else. But I've been using that to help support because I can't always like synthesize all the ideas because I see so many things I can never narrow it down. And it helps me do that.
I
But it
keep
basically
forgetting
was
about
like,
this
here,
time.
do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, so I have a weekly cadence for each one. And I was like, cool, as long as I know what I'm doing on what day, I could just duplicate that over and over again.
Okay.
Because I do like repetition. That
Okay.
helps me. But
You don't have issues with like ADHD or nothing like that.
I don't know. I've questioned. I don't think I'm which one is it? I'm definitely not
It don't give ADHD.
no, yeah, I can focus. I don't have
Mhm.
that whichever one that is. That's not my issue. And I actually did ask my last therapist about that because I thought I might have been on the spectrum.
Mhm.
And so I asked her just like if she was getting any, inkling that I might need to, take a test or something. And she was like, honestly, no. And I said, well, I think it's kind of strange because it seems like a lot of people are suffering from these conditions, but it's just to me, it just seems too prevalent. But at the same time, it seems like everybody's kind of traumatized. She said, well, CPTSD and trauma they look the same, and the same as like the other stuff, the neurodivergent stuff. And I was like, oh, so everybody's just traumatized?
Yes.
Like, is that's what's causing this? And I'm like,
Yes.
damn, that's messed up. But she
Mhm.
basically was like, she didn't see a need for me to test for anything. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll take your word for it. And I think a lot of because I can see where in my life certain things have shown up, but I don't think that was traditionally how I was. So I do think some experiences have kind of changed how I do things, but I don't see it as something that I can't kind of
Okay.
reverse engineer because I think it's a matter of it's like an external thing.
Okay.
But no, like generally, no, I wouldn't say that those are things that seem like stuff I was born with, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I was wondering because you seem like you got, I mean, how everything is so organized and you
Oh
seem
no,
to have a clear
look,
path ahead.
I just don't like, I can't, like I always talk about, clutter gives me anxiety. I can't do it. And though my life can get a little out of order, I'm always trying to figure out how to rework it. But it's hard when I'm overwhelmed or stressed, like anybody else.
Mhm.
And I'm finding my way back because when you make a lot of content, if you don't organize them damn digital files,
I read
good luck.
the one you did about the lady from YouTube. You was talking about her organizing the way she keeps her stuff organized. I can't think of her
Yep.
name now.
Yep. Yep. She
We
was a really big influence on me getting more serious about
yeah,
that. And so I got external hard drive. I had an external hard drive. I just hadn't even been using it. I had one
yeah.
with like 200 gigs open on it. I'm like,
Hmm.
what am I doing?
I'm gonna get me one too. I need to
You
get
got
me
to
one.
get one. You got to have at least one, and you probably should have them maybe just content or you know what I'm saying? Because that stuff just the more
Yeah.
you make, it
Hmm.
just takes over your
Yeah.
memory on your computer. And
It
then I have
does.
all of these the cloud stuff, but then
Yeah.
some of them charge you, the thresholds are different.
Hmm.
So I'm
Yep.
like reorganizing everything. I got off Canva I'm learning how to use Final Cut Pro because okay, so last thing, the major thing that I'm moving towards when going back referencing what my inner child always wanted is getting into film making.
Yeah, you said you want to make a movie,
Yeah,
a
so
short
uh,
film.
well, I always thought I'd be an entertainer. When I was little, I thought I was going to be a star or an entertainer. I used to sing, dance, act. I used to do all the little things just as a little teeny before school age person. And I was always interested in that stuff, but I never had the confidence to just like, and I never did like drama. I ended up being a musician for a long time. So I did music, but I still struggled with stage fright and stuff. So that just kind of kept me away from a lot of that. And I'm moving towards it again. And I just realized today, I went to an event before this and there was four filmmakers on a panel. And I was like, oh, I gotta go see this. And it reminded me, I was talking to this guy and I was telling him all the stuff I do. And I told him about my podcast. And he was like, we're talking. I was like, yeah, I just want to tell other people's stories. I was like, oh shit. So that was me doing it before I was really realized what I was
Yeah.
doing. So I've always been very interested in other people's lives and
Hmm.
how they got to where they are and what influenced them and what affected. And I'm a storyteller. I didn't
Hmm.
even
Realize.
make that connection till today that I've always been like that. I just thought I was nosy.
Oh,
And I
did
just
you?
like to hear people like, ooh, so what happened to you? Like I
I
just want to hear people,
know.
but no, I'm a story. I want to tell stories and I want to highlight stories. So I was really geeked when Bree Rich said what she was doing in her dissertation because I want to take the women from the mother list that I shared with y'all months ago. I want to tell some of their stories. So that's where that's going.
Okay. Okay, this is exciting.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
so
glad to be in the back seat of whatever this ride is we on with you.
thank you for watching my channel.
Girl, I'm gonna listen.
I just put it
I
out. I'm not even gonna stress because if I keep looking at this views
don't
number,
look at
I'm
it.
gonna jump off the
Yeah.
bridge because
And
it's not
keep
enough.
going. One of the things I
I
will
am.
say with anything, anybody, it's 12 of us in here. Before I came online and my intent was not to, this was not a dream or a goal of mine. This just happened. But it happened as a result of me continuing something. And so, of course, I started with cinnamon and sage. I always thought that I was just gonna be, which it would have been no issue, no sweat off my brow, even with the lack of support from the people that I'm in direct community with. It was gonna be no issue for me to get cinnamon and sage off the ground and make it into a powerhouse of a business because I'm very good. I can work a room. People like me. People like what I can do. I would have been able to turn cinnamon and sage into the same thing I was able to turn into my beauty business. But if some kind of way, and I used to get discouraged a lot with cinnamon and sage due to lack of support. But I would do my dinner parties and put all this time and care into all of these details, and people wouldn't understand. And I didn't understand how you didn't understand, but it was just all of these things. And I do feel like this endeavor is fruit from cinnamon and sage. And so I do recommend anything. I do recommend if you want to do something, anything, I do recommend you begin. I do recommend you also give yourself time to be new at it. Give yourself a chance to be a student. Give yourself a chance to not be good at it. Give yourself a chance to explore. Give yourself a chance because things are going to evolve. Things are going to evolve, and so you have to make it in order to stretch it. You have to
She
make it
actually
in order
says
to
that
evolve it.
in the chapter.
Mhm.
In that same paragraph, she says, go ahead, struggle through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Make
Yeah,
it
so
so
I'm
that it
learning
can
how to.
become. Yeah, when you were born, the day you was born, Melinda B. Powers, you wasn't yet all that you are.
Oh.
And so the more time and nurturing and creativity and time you put into things, the better and more polished and more beneficial they become. And so that's really what I appreciate you for trying. I appreciate you for being stretched. I appreciate you for being vulnerable. I appreciate you for getting back in touch with your creativity because it's going to be a gift to us all for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Anybody else want to go?
Hi, it's me again.
Hi.
I wanted to share this little passage here. Maybe this might close us out or something, you know.
Okay.
But I get to writing off in the sides, you know. Oh shit, you can't see
Oh,
it.
I like how you got yours set up.
Oh, with all my
I
tabs.
can't see. Oh my God, I've been trying to figure out how to use those. Can you take a
Yeah, I
picture
got
of it
my.
and put it in the Patreon?
Yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
It's just like this on my small one too. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just like that on my small one. I just got different colors.
okay.
Yeah.
I need to see
So I
that.
want to, yeah, so I want to share this little passage here because I got little stuff written off underneath it, but I think it's important for people to show up as they are, and I'll close it out.
Okay.
And I'll start by reading this paragraph in the large text, page
Okay.
182. If you can turn there, read along with me. um, So while it is useful to make bridges, even to those groups one does not belong to, it is important to try to be kind. It is imperative to not strive too hard, to not believe too deeply that if one acts just right, if one manages to tie down all the inches and twitches of the wildish creatura, that one can actually pass for a nice, restrained, subdued, and demure woman, lady woman. It is that kind of acting, that kind of ego wish to belong at all cost. It knocks out the wild woman connection in the psyche. Then instead of a vital woman, you have a nice woman who was declawed. Then you'll have a well-behaved, well-meaning, nervous woman panting to be good. No, it is better, more graceful, and far more soulful than it's far more soulful to be what to just be what and as you are, and let other creatures be what they are too. Now, in the margin, I have here show up authentically as you are so you can find your tribe and they can recognize you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of the things as I was reading it that came to mind, of course, there's many things because there's a lot that is packed. My oldest, she's in the anime, all that stuff, and she be having all her pins, and she loves K-pop. So Alicia, she loved
Your
BTS and
sister in Christ.
TXT. Right now, she's head over heels for TXT, and she went to the concert and had an amazing time. So, and she wants to go down to DreamCon in Houston next year. So she says she's gonna be out there in them streets.
Can I interrupt you just for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Josh is a nerd. Josh like those cons and stuff, and he really been immersing himself in the experiences of the people that went to DreamCon. A lot of those people, when they got back home, they fell into like a little sadness because they had spent so much time around their kind, and they realized that they not being fed, they not being championed, they not being nourished, they're not being connected with. It made me think about us, but it also made me think about all of the people who are being starved of connection because they can't, you know what I'm saying? That was what it, anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to find your tribe in that way.
Yes. Belinda,
so can I tell you?
Please, I'm so sorry, guys.
My baby. Oh no, it's okay. My baby purposely on her purses, she wears certain types of purses. They're very different. And she has all her little pins on it. Now, we may look at it and be like, oh, she got a whole lot of different pins. But can I tell you, her tribe recognizes those different pins. Yeah. And when they see each other, they literally go out their way. They don't know each other. They go out of their way. Hey, I like your pin. And then they take one of their pins off because they got pins on, and they exchanging pins. We were out to eat, celebrating her acceptance in the KSU, and we were out to dine. It was just she and I, and she had her purse sitting on the table, and the waitress came. I like your pen. And not only did she say, I like your pen, she came with a pen in hand and switched it out. And she was like, oh my God, it's so cool. Hold on. And she took one off of her purse and she gave it to her and she pinned it on her apron. So it's like, that's how they recognize each other, you know. And my daughter, she loves cosplay. She'll go out with a little half two-tone wig, and this is her do every day. Pink hair, purple hair. She is herself, and I never want to contain that. I want her to be herself, but it is how her people recognize her. So when you show up authentically as you are, it allows you to find your tribe, and it allows them to be able to identify you. So that there reminded me of the swan who thought they were a duck and knew they just did not fit in. But when they found the other swans, they just knew that that was their people. But that's what that passage reminded me of, because I love it. And everywhere we go, her tribe goes out of their way, young and old, to compliment her. And they exchange something. It's always an exchange. And even little kids, now the little kids look at my daughter like, oh my God, like they didn't seen a princess, like something off cartoons, because she is literally like, she's whimsical. She's like the Black Sailor Moon. That's my oldest. Okay. And I never want to shrink her. So I'm gonna tell y'all, because I tell my coworkers this too. My baby gonna be on Broadway, y'all. Now she's in school for cybersecurity, but that there's just to fund her passion. She gonna be on Broadway, okay? Y'all gonna notice her because she sticks out, okay? She's very different. She sticks out, and these neurotypical folks, they look at it like, you one that fit in, you the normal right here. They'll look at her like she sticks out, but can I tell you, she knows herself, and I never wanted to shrink that. That's why I allowed her to continue to do and dress how she wanted, because that's her creative expression. And in that, she knows herself. There are some grown adult women older than me that don't know themselves. Okay, so in that, just again, be authentically as you are. And that allows you to find your tribe, and it allows your tribe to be able to recognize you. I digress.
That's exactly what happened to me. Belinda, what you got?
I want to share something. I one of my best good friends just started a platform called Alt Black Girls because she had that problem growing up. She didn't fit in because in certain environments she wasn't black enough, and then, blah blah blah. But she was into like the more alternative stuff. She loved video games, she loves anime. She is, I love her. She's so quirky and fun, but she's starting a platform so that she can talk about her experiences and highlight other alt black women. She really wants to grow that space. So if you're interested, alt black girls on Substack, and she's on
Ooh,
Instagram. So I'll put the links in the chat too.
please.
She's amazing, and I'm really proud of her because she's finally stepping out there and being more of her authentic self.
Mhm.
So we've been going through that together, and it's been nice to have her support as well.
That's sweet. Okay, let me I definitely want to see her Substack. Um, okay. I think that's a great thing. I think since it's 9:30 almost, I think that actually is a great place to end. Um just being your most creative, because Valerie actually been talking about that this week too, like your creative expression is what puts you in touch with your people. And so I know Brianna, me and you have been talking about how you want to get back into the things that you're passionate about. I don't even know if she's still in here. She probably went on about her business. You still here,
I'm here.
Brianna?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm here.
You wanted to get back into the things that you good at, the things that you're gifted at, finding ways to ease back into them. I hope you can do that. I hope you can. It's enough of y'all around there in Atlanta. I hope you can find, you can get some help with that if you need it. But any of us who if we want to get back in touch with ourselves in any way, we want to get in touch with our pack in any way, really expand it into our creativity. It maybe just for a season and see what you come up with.
Yeah. You know what?
Um,
I'm sorry.
no, please.
No, what Mildred was saying, that just spoke to me, and so and yes, I read it, and I totally saw what it said in the book, but the way she just connected that to her daughter and the pins, and like Brianna, that's why you feel outside, because you not showing your feathers, you're not showing your pins, like, so
Mhm.
they can't find you. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know. I could just sit here and cry about that. But yeah, no, that's amazing, and I will definitely find my people when I get back out there.
Yeah,
So
you will. You will. And you deserve to get back out there. It'll help you with your confidence. It'll help you with your all of your things. It'll build a world out for you. Your creativity it will help you to build a new world for yourself, and you deserve it. You young, vibrant. Hey, Chef Raquel, that's okay. We wrapping up. We getting ready to say good night. But I think we probably have a follow up for this one. Um, we'll see. Anybody have anything for me or anyone else? Uh, no. Okay. Well, y'all know y'all gotta hang me up. I'm not gonna hang y'all up because I hangs up too quick.
I put the
I want to
links
say
in
good
there, by
night.
the
You
way.
said what?
I put her Substack in her
Okay,
Instagram
yeah.
chat.
Okay. I'm click on that right now before we leave. Okay. Oh, look at her. Okay. Y'all hang me up. I love y'all very much. Good night. I'll see y'all next week.
Good night. Thank you,
Whenever
y'all.
voice memos. Have a
Good night,
fabulous
y'all.
hang me
Night.
up.
This
I'm
was
gonna leave here
beautiful.
until everybody
Everybody.
hangs up. Darlena, hang me
Yes.
up. Darlena, always the last one
Okay.
in
Good
here.
night.
Hang me up.
I cannot find that. I have to hang up. Right. Good night, y'all. Oh,
Good
my God.
night.
Good night.
Grace, hang up.
I did.
I'm talking about Grace. Grace still over here. Grace
Oh.
probably fell asleep. I'm gonna hang Grace up. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. I don't know how to hang up actually. Where am I? Okay, here we go.